Hello Art Spotlight. This is Sorayama Hajime exhibitions. I am Shinji Nanzuka, the director of this museum, NANZUKA Art Institute. Please enjoy.
Art Spotlight is delighted to be here today in the NANZUKA Art Institute with the founder, Shinji Nanzuka. Thank you very much for giving us your time today.
Thank you very much.
Now, your current exhibition on Hajime Sorayama's work, entitled Light, Reflection and Transparency, has caused a lot of excitement in the Shanghai art community. Can you tell us some more about your thoughts behind this exhibition and why this artist is important to you?
Actually, the Sorayama is quite popular in China. This is good advantage for me to have his big first retrospective in China here, Shanghai. And actually, this is a retrospective of his robotic work. But he also do some another like a pin-up erotic works too, but this is not for the public. So this is like focusing on his aesthetic vision of his old artworks, focusing on this context called like light, transparency, and reflection. This is Sorayama told by himself. This is my statement about his work.
And your gallery in Tokyo has a long-standing relationship with this artist, I believe.
Yes, I met with him at first time in 2007, and I started to work with him since 2009. But of course, his work is very popular in Japan since I was a kid. Like tons of advertisement uses his work too. So also Sony Aibo, robot dog by Sony is very popular too. So his name and his works is very famous, but nobody recognizes his artist in the art industry. So I just wanted him to, hook up in this art historical, understand his work.
And what originally attracted you to his works?
Actually, his design concept is very, very influential to many another creative field like a fashion or films or game so that's the main point. Not only about the only art context, fine art context, but his works should be recognized as one of our human asset of creativity.
And I think this aspect of highlighting the work of some artists that you believe have been underappreciated by the art society, perhaps, is some of the important work that your gallery, particularly obviously in Tokyo, has been doing historically. Why did you take on that role, and do you see that as an important function that you serve these days with the art community?
Yes, actually, this is quite a long story about myself too, because I actually studied art history in the university and master, but I actually didn't study history because I really didn't interested in. I like history and respect, but I just want to work with living artists, not about the dead artists. I may say this a little bit annoying, but I'm more interested in what artists think in life, and so that's why I wanted to start my gallery. This is the reason. And as far as I know, this is a little bit paradox, but art history needs to have time to recognize what is real fine art and what is the value of the human creativity. So basically, art history tells we need like 100 years. But, it's on the other hand, how about contemporary art? Even contemporary art is living by living artists nowadays. So it's not about history. So I thought if I work in contemporary art industry, we don't need to say this is fine art or not, because we still don't know what the history says. So that's why I just started to hook up another, or not another, like all alternative creative people, even they are told as designer or whatever. So I just wanted to delete all barrier in the field in between each genre.
And what about for kind of mid-career or up-and-coming artists? I mean, what kind of responsibility or what kind of effect do you believe you can have on those artists in Japan and foreign artists coming into Japan?
When I started my gallery in 2005, still art industry was so conservative. So most of the art professionals only define fine artists as fine art. The art only for art. But it's already been like 20 years. I became old. But nowadays, many established artists also do the fashion collaboration or design works. So I think the whole environment of the art scene has already changed. So when I started to work with Keiichi Tanami, and he's one of the most important Japanese graphic designer, but he is one of the first Japanese pop art, I may say, because he was already included in major pop art retrospective in the world, even in the Tate Modern or Walk Art Center, collected by New York MoMA or Berlin National Museum, blah, 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 and Hong Kong M+2. So it means not about the job statement. So more important is what they made and what they worked for. So this is the main reason I just didn't follow the old regulation. The art should be only fine art. So my younger artist is also follow. I have all my younger generation in the same position. Like I have Japanese artist called Haroshi. The Japanese artist is based on the same context.
And what can the art audience in Shanghai expect from Art Institute in the next 6 months to 1 year? How many of the exhibitions will be reflecting exhibitions you've previously held in Japan, and how many will be entirely new?
I'm planning like 3 exhibitions per year here, like 3 months or 4 months for each exhibition. So I'm not only doing Japanese artists, of course, I'm doing more like a global program. But I'm only following my taste, my curatorial vision. So here in China and Shanghai, we can meet with tons of creative people interested in art and culture, and also they are not reject Japanese context. So this is very important.
You recently participated in Art Basel 2025, which was another huge success. What can you tell us about the artists that you were representing there, and how did you feel that their work was accepted by the audience?
Yeah, I actually do like a Hong Kong fair since the beginning. It was former Art HK, founded in 2008. So I know how the Asian market grows till now. So basically, in Hong Kong Basel, I have big booths that are not only Japanese, but global. But still, I'm trying to show more Asian artists now. Because in last decades, Asian younger artists quite be well. Well means in the quality and in the context and any critical aspect of the art. The Asian art became very, very strong now.
And actually, in this year's Art Basel, for the first time, more than 50% of the galleries came from Asia Pacific. What do you think that means for the creativity going on here today?
Simply, like a European market is very slow now, and everybody wants to make business in Asia now, because Asia need art because it tells us a lot about our life. And artists, so that's why we can meet with many good artists, especially Chinese young artists, quite good. I'm very impressed. So that's why we can see how the future will be bright here in Asia.
And the final question: what are your ambitions for the future of NANZUKA Art?
In Shanghai, I want to make this company. This is for me. It's a kind of part of business, of course. It's one small gallery do this big ambitious project as museum, doing the museum. because nowadays the artists probably not gallery anymore in the future. This is possible because artists can sell their artworks by themselves. They can manage their studio by themselves. So the rest of the gallery role is that, but still I'm a little bit pessimistic to the gallery future. But the museum, this big project, most of the artists cannot do by themselves. So because we are supporting the whole artist activities be stronger and better through this big museum project. In beginning of the 20th century, gallery space to focus on artists each exhibition. So all the galleries just hanging the art pieces on the wall regularly, and just collectors come to buy each painting, even one of small spaces having 100 paintings. But now we do the exhibitions for the artists. So that's the vision that I have this museum, to work with the artists and make artists better, and work for the value and the reputation.
Well, Art Spotlight wishes you the very best of luck for the future, and we look forward to seeing what you can bring to the art community here in Shanghai.
Thank you.
We're very excited to see that.
Thank you. So this is one of the earliest Sorayama's robot painting in 78. This is advertisement for the Century whiskey. For him, this is one very important piece.
It was like a milestone in his artistic development. It's interesting.
So this is another famous painting used for album jacket of Aerosmith, the Just Space Play. But he painted this painting in 82, but Aerosmith used this image for album cover in 2002.
And how did he react to that? Was he aware of Aerosmith at the time? Or?
Yeah, it became very popular in the public. My generation is very fascinated by this art. So this artwork, he showed all technique how to paint this robot painting. So this book became very, very popular to the younger art students because they all try to follow his painting and the technique.
And has that continued to today? Are many younger artists still replicating?
Yeah.
Excellent. I like the dinosaurs.
Yeah, dinosaurs. He likes dinosaurs very much. He says like a dinosaur is one of his idols.
And the shark as well. The shark is very impressive.
It's very cool,
Do you have any particular favourites out of the works that are on display here?
This is his latest painting, which is very funny.
Kind of part of the rebellious attitude we were talking about earlier with pop culture. Sure.
As an artist, the whole thing is cool. So this is traveling in the space hole. You can see like how the works going to keep on going.
I love the postures. They're very beautiful, aren't they? Very elegant.
That's a video installation. The first time he created this.
I love the sci-fi kind of almost 2001 Odyssey music kind of, right? Very evocative, very relaxing. Amazing. And how were many of these received in Japan originally? Were they controversial to the general public, or?
I don't think so. So you can do it in the private gallery, I think, not in the public museum. That's one of the designs for my own space.
Art scene is always something that's very energetic, very dynamic, and having people like you here is only going to help. So.
More open mind and more international. So Sorayama said this is one of the signature piece in the show, like how the light transparency and reflection. He tried to represent in this painting because the paint has only 4 colors. But he tries to, make people understand this is writing. So that's why he used this large format canvas. Even details is just. So it means very important to let many people know his works. So this is the first step to make bigger projects, and even doing many commercial projects makes him popular. So that's kind of important nowadays, how collaboration became important for the artist. And like this, experimental exhibition for the people have motivation to come. Because they want to take picture together during the show. So it's kind of, we don't have to say like art is, it have to be academical, like a body, but still it's okay to say this is kind of entertainment because nobody knows in the future after we.
I mean, if it becomes too academic and too formal,
because it's a business, it's part of the business to not only about the money, but still keeping authority of the fine art as top of all culture